National Institute. And we did have well over 100 plus folks who registered. So hopefully people will join us as we go along. So, and I want to say thank you to Melanie and to Rebecca and certainly to Tiffany for moderating tonight. So my part is basically to talk about the present. And maybe for some of you who are online, you've probably heard me say this before. If you've been to any of my seminars or in any of my courses, I often get asked the question, well, you know, what's this institute for? What's it all about? Quite simply, it's to build a community of forensic social workers, or let me put it this way, to build a community of social workers who have the skills around and legal and knowledge around the law, such that in working in the justice system, and that's whether on the civil side or on the criminal side, that the social worker can provide a holistic service. All right. Now here's the thing I want to mention. I had, as Tiffany had said in reading my background, I've literally been practicing law for almost 26 years now. I've been in social work practice without the license doing child welfare before it was regulated back in the 1990, I think 1991. And then once I decided to get my degrees, I realized that it was important to also have social workers who understood, especially child welfare. That's the area that I had worked in basically in the 90s, intake services. And so every time I taught a class, and it might be a class that had nothing to do with law and social work, I taught cross culture or whatever, I always got asked the question by social work students, well, why, if you're a lawyer, why are you bothering to do the social work piece? And one thing that I always explained was that as a lawyer, when those clients come into my office to see me, my clients who are low income, marginalized individuals, it's never just the legal issue. The legal issue is probably the simplest part to deal with. It was the social issues that really caused that individual to be in my office, then addressing legal issues. So I started to investigate that a bit further and also tried to think of ways to name this. And quite frankly, the term forensic social work was just not my purview. It just didn't, the concept of it didn't mean anything. I didn't know about it. But then when I developed the courses in law and social work that I teach, the students continue to ask questions. Well, you know, what is this? Is there some way to practice this or whatever? I decided, okay, I'm going to do my investigation. And I came across the National Organization of Forensic Social Work, which is the US organization, and of which I'm a member. And what concerned me there was the fact that you had to be a master's level social worker to be a member of that organization. And that organization in the US has existed for years, and they've got a very well organized group and a very large membership. But what I was experiencing, especially in teaching the undergrad course, was that there were social workers working in the field that most of their work or their daily task was also focused on the practice of law. And of course, one of the main areas is child protection. And as I researched a bit more, I realized, no, it's not just a master's level social worker who is doing this practice, this skill, having a special skill in law or knowledge. And so why are we leaving out the BSWs? And also in Alberta, there are diploma social workers who are RSWs as well. And they too are working in areas of child protection and where the need is. So my research took me to a number of scholars that started to make a distinction between the generalist social worker with forensic skills versus the master's level social worker that was seen as a specialist. Let me clarify that. So the BSW social worker doing forensic work would be child protection. The master level social worker, specialist skills doing forensic work would be found in hospitals, in a psychiatric hospital, could be in a children's hospital in the forensic unit doing assessments. So the divide started to get even clearer for me. And quite frankly, I didn't like the fact that it um, wasn't an all-inclusive practice. That, here within this practice and these skill sets, we as social workers or the regulatory bodies, or the organizations, were making this distinction between students, or practitioners that had undergraduate degrees versus master's degrees. So I thought, no, you know what? We're a community. We're a community of social workers. And the only thing that makes us different from the generalist social worker, whether that's at a BSW level or at a master's level, is the fact that we have this skill set. And the skill set being a training, specialized skills and training around the law in various areas of the law. So, I've had a number of social workers saying, well, why are you making this distinction? Well, the point being, why not, is the question I always ask. So I went to, just for purposes of tonight, I did go to the dictionary, quite frankly, and some of the other services. So I want to just read these. And I know Tiffany has a PowerPoint. Tiffany, I don't know if you want to put that up, or I can just actually go through these because they're just really quickly. So the word forensis, which is Forensis, actually means, and that's the Latin meaning, means open court or public. And so today, it means the findings have something to do with the court or the justice system or the legal system. The latter meaning, of course, then started to develop from the Latin term. And we first start to hear about forensics. There we go. Thanks, Tiffany. We first start to hear about forensics in terms of forensic medicine. And that's something we're all pretty aware of. It's a common term. And there's the definition there. And then from forensic, as we start to move through the progression of history or practice of forensic practice, we start to hear forensic psychiatry. And from psychiatry, it gets to forensic psychology. And here we are now, forensic social work practice. And as you see the definitions, I mean, the only thing that really changes is forensic psychiatry, referring to disordered behaviors, questions of mental responsibility specific to commit-ability. And of course, that we see at the forensic institutes and so on. Forensic psychology, just the merger of law and psychology. So why is it that we as social workers, professionally trained individuals, who work within legal systems, why is it that we are not saying that we are forensic social workers? I take the position, quite frankly, that we should. And hence why for the past 4 years, slowly but surely, I am doing my best, and with the help of all of you, and certainly the students on board, the members of the Institute now are starting to really work together collaboratively to recognize this special skill set around social workers, practitioners who work within their jobs where the emphasis is on the law. And so there's the Webster Dictionary there. It just says belonging to the courts of law, used in the courts or legal proceedings as a forensic term. So just the next slide there, Tiffany. So, and the next slide is just simply, again, thanks, Tiffany, the generic versus the specialized social work. Generic social work is what we all do. And let me just say, in doing forensic social work practice, it's really important that you have the foundation, and hence why it is very much about having the, like I said, a diploma in social work, or having a BSW or master's or even a PhD. And then the specialized work, of course, being more focused on assessments and within the mental health field for the most part. And basically the client's involvement with social worker is contingent on, but not always determined by the court. So what I mean by that is simply to be a forensic social worker and practitioner, you do not have to work in a forensic hospital. You do not have to work in a institution such as a correctional facility. Those, quite frankly, those would be the positions that are more clear cut in terms of social workers who are doing a forensic practice, but not absolutely necessary. And so where are we at now? Tiffany, if you can just flip to that last slide, and I'm not sure how much time I have. We have the Institute. Please feel free to go to the website, www.nifsw.com. We will continue to make all best efforts to establish this skill set. And I say skill set, it is not a designation, it is a skill set. Tiffany is giving me the sign that my time is up. So building I'll take 2 minutes, Tiffany. We're building a community of forensic social workers that will be recognized as social workers who have that special skill set. I want to just also emphasize that forensic social work, FSW, is not a designation. It is not a designation here in Canada. And what I mean by that is comparative to an RSW, registered social worker. And for the most part, it is not a designation in the US either. However, with that said, I can tell you that there are social workers who are practicing in Canada in various positions, and I can think of at least 3 provinces here in Canada where there are practitioners, social work practitioners, who in fact do call themselves and have in their title the job the title, I'm sorry, the initials forensic social worker. So that's what I wanted to talk about. That's where we are today. The field is opening up, especially in light of social movements such as Black Lives Matter, Me Too movement, police, when we talk about police defunding, the opportunities for social workers with legal training and understanding that forensic process, whether it's forensic interviewing, whether it's report writing, is broadening. And we've heard from Melanie, who's been doing it for a while, and you're going to hear from Rebecca now in terms of positions such as litigation support. And of course, we have Tiffany, who's working in a law office. Dow Legal Aid Service operates as a private law office, but we are community-based. So join us whenever you can. Please subscribe to the website and help work together to build this community of forensic social workers so that we can be